It just pisses me the fuck off. And then
You're good. Take a break.
At a press conference, Jake Paul, brimming with confidence, walked in ready to boast about how tough he is and how he plans to crush Mike Tyson in the ring. However, he quickly met his match when he faced the legendary Mike Tyson, who has been dealing with trash talkers like Jake for over 40 years. Unfazed by Jake's bravado, Tyson delivered a sharp and ruthless verbal takedown that left Jake speechless. With a few well-chosen words, Tyson exposed Jake's lack of experience, reducing him to mere tears. It was a powerful reminder that talking big is meaningless without the skills to back it up, especially when facing the baddest man on the planet. On August 18th, the world witnessed an unforgettable moment when Jake Paul and Mike Tyson squared off, not in the ring but at a New York City press conference that turned into the roast of the century. The anticipation was palpable as fans waited to see how Jake, the self-proclaimed king of internet trash talk, would fare against Tyson, a man whose fists have told more stories than Jake's mouth ever could. Jake strutted in with his usual blend of arrogance and bravado, but Tyson's words were anything but empty threats. They were sharp, calculated, and hit Jake harder than any punch ever could, leaving him stunned and speechless. Jake Paul walked into the press conference thinking he could rattle Mike Tyson with his usual smack talk, but this wasn't just any opponent. This was Mike Tyson, a man who's been shutting down loudmouths longer than Jake has been alive. Jake's attempt to flex was as cringeworthy as expected. He arrogantly claimed that it was going to be Tyson's funeral and tried to convince everyone, including himself, that he was about to end Tyson's career. But then Jake made the most outrageous statement of all, that he would knock out Mike Tyson. Yes, the same Mike Tyson who
Did you start training already?
Once turned Michael Spinks into a human speed bump in 91 seconds and knocked out Marvis Frazier in just 30 seconds. The sheer audacity of Jake's claim was so ridiculous, it was almost painful to watch. Here was a man whose boxing career seemed to be more about gaining Instagram followers than actually proving himself in the ring against a legend like Tyson. Jake Paul stood in front of a living legend, acting like he was about to make history, but the only history he seemed poised to make was in how quickly he could eat his own words. When the host, trying to stir things up, asked Tyson how it felt to be up against a young killer, the room fell silent, everyone holding their breath for Tyson's response. True to form, Tyson, the master of understatement, delivered a knockout with just one sentence. Jake's bluster did nothing but dig his own grave. Tyson didn't need to shout or get angry. He simply let Jake's words hang in the air, knowing they would collapse under the weight of reality. While Jake fantasized about knockouts, Tyson quietly reminded everyone why he's one of the most feared fighters in history. The press conference was far more than just talk, it was a reality check. The press conference was a harsh reality check for Jake Paul, a reminder that no amount of trash talk can change the fact that he's stepping into the ring with a man who remains as dangerous now as he was at his peak. Jake failed to understand that boxing isn't about who can shout the loudest or who has the best insults, it's about who can deliver in the ring. While Jake was busy rehearsing his trash talk, Tyson was mentally preparing for a fight, drawing on decades of experience that Jake could never comprehend. Still, Jake couldn't resist taking a shot at what he thought was Tyson's weakness, his age. He sneered, calling Tyson a relic of the past, as if the number of birthdays Tyson has celebrated could outweigh the countless knockouts he's delivered. But Jake missed the mark entirely. Tyson's age isn't a liability, it's a badge of honor, proof that he has survived and thrived in a sport that often consumes younger fighters. Tyson's longevity is a testament to his skill, resilience, and unmatched ferocity. Mocking a man for lasting longer in the ring than most could even dream of was Jake Paul's first and frankly dumbest move. But he didn't stop there. Running out of ideas, Jake decided to mock Tyson's health. Yes, he went there targeting something entirely out of Tyson's control. This only showed how little Jake understood the man he was facing. Jake failed to recognize that Tyson didn't postpone their fight because he couldn't handle it. He did it to ensure he was fully prepared. At 58, Tyson could have easily said, "Forget it, I've got nothing to prove," and walked away. But that's not who Tyson is. He's a fighter through and through. Jake, on the other hand, missed this completely. Instead of showing even a shred of respect, he doubled down on insults, further revealing his ignorance. Jake Paul ridiculed Tyson's decision to postpone the fight, sounding more like a playground bully than a professional athlete. The crowd wasn't sure whether to laugh or cringe as Jake mocked a legend's health, oblivious to the fact that Tyson's postponement was an act of responsibility, not weakness. It was a low blow even for Jake. While Tyson has always been about the sport, legacy and fans, Jake seemed solely concerned with money. This stark contrast between the two fighters highlighted Jake's arrogance. By focusing only on money and fame, Jake completely missed what truly matters in the ring: respect, skill, and dedication. Jake Paul underestimated Tyson's sharp wit and seasoned approach. Tyson's point was clear: he has faced real fighters in the ring, men who earned their place through blood, sweat, and tears. Jake thought he could humiliate Tyson, a man who has survived far more than Jake could ever imagine, but all he did was make himself look foolish. His attempts to roast Tyson fell flat, not because they lacked cleverness, but because they showed just how little he understood who Tyson truly is. While Jake was busy mocking Tyson's age, health, and past, Tyson was quietly waiting, knowing that when the time came, his fists would do all the talking needed. After the press conference, things took an unexpected turn when Logan Paul, Jake's own brother, grabbed the mic and asked Tyson a question that left everyone in the room on edge. Logan wanted to know why Tyson was using words like beautiful, peaceful, and terrified when describing Jake. This was Mike Tyson, after all, the guy who's more beast than man in the ring, yet here he was sounding almost gentle. Logan's confusion highlighted the unpredictable nature of Tyson's demeanor. Logan's confusion was understandable, but Tyson's response was anything but soft. With a calmness that comes only from someone who has faced their own demons, Tyson didn't resort to the bravado Jake had been throwing around all night. Instead, he offered a glimpse into the mind of a man who has been to hell and back. "That's going to happen," Tyson began, almost acknowledging that the beast within him wasn't gone, just dormant. Then, he dropped a bombshell that left everyone in stunned silence. Here was Tyson, the same man who once bit off a piece of Evander Holyfield's ear in a fit of rage, showing a side no one expected. Tyson spoke about the very monster inside him that he has spent years trying to control. This wasn't just a fighter speaking, this was a man who knows what it's like to lose control, let anger dictate his actions, and face the consequences. Tyson isn't just a tough persona for the cameras, he's real and dangerous. Jake Paul is incredibly lucky that Tyson has learned to keep that beast on a leash outside the ring. When Tyson's inner monster does come out, the results are terrifying. At his peak, Tyson could end a fight with a single punch. Opponents didn't just fear losing, they feared the sheer devastation Tyson could deliver. Tyson's opponents feared leaving the ring on a stretcher or worse, but Tyson drove the truth home when he looked straight into the camera, delivering words that carried immense weight. This wasn't a dramatic line, it was Tyson, raw and real, admitting that the toughest opponent he has ever faced is himself. The beast inside Tyson isn't something he takes pride in, it's something he wishes would just disappear. For a man as fearsome as Tyson to wish that part of him would die speaks volumes about the internal struggle he has endured. Just when you thought Tyson couldn't be more intense, he revealed the depth of his personal battle. Tyson, unable to get more real, shifted his focus back to Jake with a statement that cut through all the noise. Jake, with his youthful arrogance, hasn't faced the real consequences yet. He's playing a game Tyson mastered years ago, but he doesn't even know the rules. That's where the real danger for Jake lies. He believes that by running his mouth, hurling insults, and making grandiose claims, he can get under Tyson's skin and win the mental battle before they step into the ring. But Tyson isn't playing that game. He refuses to get dragged into a war of words because he knows that, ultimately, it's not the words that matter, it's the fists. Tyson's fists are backed by a lifetime of pain, power, and raw, untamed fury that Jake can't even begin to understand.